What's up, everybody? Another wonderful Monday night at Chewin the BBQ Fat. I hope that y'all can hear me. I hope that everything's better than last week. What a disaster I had. Great show with Emily. She did an awesome job. KCBS. I hope it was good for everybody. But man, that was very frustrating on my side. So anyway, I hope you've had a wonderful week. Like the page, share the page, subscribe to YouTube. Let's get it out there. I'm very excited about tonight's show. We've got a lot of cool stuff to talk about tonight, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So, one thing I've always said that I would love to do is push our sponsor or push our the sponsors, the contest organizers. That's right. Yeah, New Zero free dial-up. Hopefully it sounds better tonight, Brent, and hopefully you can hear me. But it's going to be good. Like I said, y'all share the page. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to bring Mark Porter on I don't know. He's got all kind of contests, but I'm pretty sure this is the which contest are you pushing tonight?
This is the Hog Wild Barbecue Cook-Off and Festival in Brookhaven, Mississippi.
Brookhaven, Mississippi. There you go, man. Awesome. Thank you so much, Mark, for coming on. I really hope you're going to sell out that contest down there in Brookhaven. I know last year we had a good contest, and tell us a little bit more about it tonight.
I believe we might sell out this year because we've actually, if anybody does not know yet, we did receive the Smoking with Smithfield grant this year after only 10 years of trying. So
there you go.
I want to thank Smithfield for that first and foremost. But on April 2nd, we will have another judging class. And I think KCBS ought to think about giving me an award for all these judging classes we have. I swear we won't do another one. And for some reason, we do one the very next year. But all this stuff is on the website already. You can get signed up for it. But that is on April the 2nd, which our contest will be April 29th and 30th. Friday nights, the SCA cook-off, of course, and the Kids Q pork chops. And then we go into April 30th, that's Saturday, with the KCBS comp. And I'm adding something new this year. I know how everybody talks about wanting to get the public involved. And so we're actually going to do, after our last turn-in, which is brisket at 1:30, between everybody's turning in brisket and having a little bit of a break before awards, I decided I'd throw something else in there. It's going to be a people's choice. So anybody from the public or anybody that wants to get in on this, of strictly pork's all it'll be. It will run from 2 o'clock to 3:30. So maybe right before awards, we'll be done with that. But we will actually have a separate tent set up for everybody to bring this is not going to be a hometown favorite that's going to walk away with the prize money. This is going to be blind. It's blind judging, just like on the KCBS side, but this will be open for anybody. And the protein will be pork, of course.
There you go.
And,
love it.
We'll let everybody, give everybody the information once they're there, if they're interested in competing in this. And
how can people sign up for this, Mark?
Sir?
How can people sign up for your contest?
Go to the Brookhaven Hog Wild website, and all the applications are on there, refreshed and up and ready to go.
And you know what I love about it? I love you're trying. You're trying to do so. You've been listening to the show. You've been listening to what everybody's talked about, and you are really out there trying to make this be a great contest. And I love it. I'm glad to hear you're doing that, man.
We're trying. That's all we can do. But I do want to say this year too, I mean, we have our charities we give to, and our newest charity this year is the Central Mississippi Down Syndrome Society, and then Team Autism and Alzheimer's of Mississippi, and then of course our local volunteer fire departments. This is where all our money's raised go to. So any help I can get out of anybody, we'd be glad to have you. And then my last thing before I let you go, Brian, I've got a little incentive for you. Since a couple of years ago, I drug that stick burner and brought my chair over to Cumming, Georgia, and set up between Hank Vaden and Wes Garrett and spent the weekend. I've had someone offer to take care of your entry fee and all your expenses if you'll make it to Brookhaven to cook hog wild this year.
Man, what weekend is this?
That's April 29th and 30th. So that's just a little something for you to think over between now and then.
I'll tell you what, that is something I will talk to Ellen about, and we will see if we can't make that happen, Mark.
Well, we sure hope to see y'all.
That'd be awesome. That would be awesome. Well, Mark Porter, thank you so much. Thank you for all you do for barbecue. Thank you for pushing it. I love it. And like I say, guys, go sign up. Brookhaven. Hog Wild at Brookhaven.
BrookhavenHogWild.com.
BrookhavenHogWild.com. Awesome. That's what I love to hear. And it's going to be great. Let's see. All right, Mark, appreciate it. We will see you next time out here, and I hope everything goes well for you, buddy.
Oh.
Thank you, bud. Awesome. So cool. Love to see all these contests filling up. Jason Cole, Smoke on the Shore, still has that is surprising. He still has a few spots left. March 18th and 19th, Smoke on the Shore as right outside of Nashville, Tennessee. Great contest. That's awesome. Mark Porter for president. I love it, Hank King. All right, guys. So getting on to the show tonight, and I'm really excited about this. This is something that my buddy Bill Purvis, I talked to him a couple weeks ago about coming on and wanting to be able to push the different organizations, right? So last week we had KCBS on. Y'all see me talk about GBC, which real quick, GBC is having their barbecue class this weekend. There's still a few spots left. I'm teaching pork. If you want to know how to cook the best pork in the world, come watch me. Anyway, let's get going with the CBA. I literally have the who's who of that organization here tonight. And we are very proud to be friends with them and just looking forward to a great conversation. So anybody that you can, any questions you've got, get them ready for these guys. I'm gonna go ahead and bring on Roddy Trevino. How you doing, my man?
How's it going, guys? Doing good.
Great to see you, buddy. And we got Bill Purvis, the man with Chicken Fried Barbecue. How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. Doing great. Yeah.
And then I guess we're going to bring on Prez here. Fred Robles, how you doing, bud?
I'm good. How you doing, Brian?
Good. Good to see you guys. I'm so excited to see all the things y'all have going on out there in Texas. I've been fortunate enough to cook with Bill quite a bit last year, and just seeing everything that's happened, what y'all are doing is really cool. But I told Bill that I was going to give y'all an opportunity to talk it up, what y'all got going on. But first of all, Fred, congratulations on winning the San Antonio Rodeo. That's what's called.
Yep.
Bill, great job on back-to-back reserve. I know that was an interesting conversation. We'll probably talk a little bit about that. And then Roddy, I know you're tearing it up out there too. So Bill, I'm gonna let you get started because I asked you to get started about this whole thing. So tell us a little bit about what's going on.
Yeah, well, I mean, Texas is a big state, right? I mean, we'll start with that, and there's several different options, several different sanction bodies in Texas, and I think everybody on this panel, Fred and Roddy were the originators of. I mean, these guys have been on boards together. They've fought a lot of battles in the boardroom and probably fought each other in the boardroom over the years. So
quite a bit times.
So when those guys, Fred being a really good friend as well, when those guys decided to start up CBA, they asked me, and I think they asked me if I would come along and join them, and of course. I love everything about barbecue, and I love all the sanctioning bodies, but at the same time, too, as you know, Brian, I've cooked a lot of KCBSs in this last year, and I've really enjoyed pork, and that was the interesting factor in CBA is there's no sanctioned bodies in Texas that are cooking pork. So CBA is there used to be, and these guys probably have, both Fred and Roddy have got a lot more tribal knowledge of the state as far as IBCA used to offer pork. Some regions cooked it. Some regions were really attached to it. Other regions, really just wanted to do the three meats. But I was talking to Adam Goudreau this weekend. I think, is he still one of your sponsored teams? Yeah.
He is, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he was like, man, I can't wait to do a CBA. I can't wait to do a CBA. He cooks whatever's closest to him because, he's in Louisiana and there's there's only so much that happens with BCA and IBCA and CBA and KCBS. So, but he loves four meat contests because it's 4 chances to hear your name. But I've obviously loved cooking pork as well. I've done, well enough in it in KCBS. And, a lot of these, I think, too, with Texas, our delegation every year is bigger and bigger at the Royal. You saw it this year. So, as far as, some of these guys, Fred and Roddy, kind of paving the way for a lot of the newer cooks, and some of us starting to cook pork and show up. And there were some Texans that got some pork walks, I think quite a few Texans have gotten some pork walks. And, to some degree, I would like to think that, them cooking some CBAs before they went up helped them out in the pork category. So it's a different option. And along with that, and I'll let Fred, I won't take over the whole show, but, our scoring system is unique. We feel that we've got, some proprietary scoring tools that takes a lot of human element, a lot of calculations out. So, but at the same time, and we have our challenges as well. So I don't think anyone's perfect. And, barbecue's a journey for all of us, for every sanctioned body too. So
that's awesome. So Bill's saying that Roddy and Fred, y'all came up with this. Can y'all read the comments at all? Can y'all see the comments?
Yeah, we're looking at Carrie and Brad. And all.
I just want to tell Brad, just hire Fred to cook your chicken at Houston Rodeo.
There you go.
That's awesome. Anyway, so how did y'all come out with wanting to add, and Roddy, Fred, whoever, because I'll let either one of y'all answer. How did you come up with wanting to add pork to the to the CBA?
That was all Fred Robles, man. I mean, when I think I guess to understand what went down is Fred and I were on the IBCA board, and the decision was made to step away from it. But at that time, we started talking about creating our own organization and to get things going that way. But we also had some guys out in West Texas who were talking about doing the same thing. They were a little bit ahead of us as far as creating a computer system, and it was amazing how far along these guys were as far as the computer programming in the system and the different ideas. And then we had another group of guys in Houston that were already starting to do something as well. So one of the hardest things about starting the organization was coming up with a name. So we actually Champions was thrown in there, but we actually created an alliance with all 3 groups. Sean Larkin, the Dirty Underwear Gang from Houston, and then Aaron and Leslie, and the guys from West Texas. So that's how that came to be. And then Fred got this bright idea that he wanted to bring pork into the mix, and I was like, I don't know about that, man. So Fred won the argument, this time, and we started cooking pork.
So Fred, tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the pork idea came from, what's the majority of the nation doing? What are we, and why is Texas not doing it? So you go to the bigger contest, the contest that, if you're a competition cook and you want to be successful and you want to get your name out there, you're going to have to go and cook the Royal and, hope to qualify for the Jack or get in there somehow. And so all these contests, these bigger contests, have pork in them. So Texas wasn't ever a pork contest. Go ahead,
Can I
Brad.
stop you for a second?
Yeah.
Of all the different sanctioning bodies in Texas, how many of them are a 4 meat and how many of them are qualifiers for the Royal or the Jack?
We're the only 4 meat sanctioning body in Texas.
Right.
Everybody else is 3 meats. And there's Lone Star Barbecue Society, which is a 3 meat. Theirs are qualifiers to the Jack. Ours are qualifiers to the Jack as a 4 meat. IBCA and CTBA, Central Texas Barbecue Association.
Right,
so
sorry about that.
Yeah, there's 4 sanctioning bodies currently in Texas. I think BCA has done a few events in Texas. KCBS.
Actually, Fred, we have 5 sanctioning bodies in Texas with the Outlaws. Outlaw,
Outlaw Barbecue, yes, which is the newest one. Outlaw Barbecue Society or Outlaw Barbecue Association. I'm not sure what their last acronym is,
ODA.
but
There you go.
BC, yeah. So I'm not sure if they're qualifiers yet. It's their first year in existence, so I'm not sure if they're considered qualifiers yet. But they're a 3-meat sanctioning body as well. So pork was just, what can we do to help cooks cook on a more national stage, have more national recognition. I've often said, and I'll continue to say, that I think Texas has some of the best cooks in the world. It's just cooks from Texas would hardly ever venture out. Now you guys have gotten to know Bill and LC Barbecue, Philip Breeden, and Lee Hickle, and so these guys are out there pounding the pavement. But there was very few before then. I mean, you had maybe Ernest Cervantes going out there and cooking some KCBS, and so Ronnie Wade back in the days, and Johnny, but it was very few and far between. So I've always said Texas has some of the greatest cooks out there. Nobody knows them because they're just in Texas. They don't ever get out of Texas. But you guys have seen what some of these guys can do when they get out there, and
well, even you, Fred, you've left the state some and had a lot of success.
Well, we've had our share of success, man.
Just a couple wooden trophies.
Just a couple wooden trophies.
I mean, don't keep knocking yourself short, buddy.
And and trying to give back to barbecue, the goal was to create a sanctioning body that was what we believe the fairest judging system out there, most technologically advanced system out there that would work great for all the cooks, regardless of where you're at or what region you're in or what part of the state you're at or what part of the nation for that matter. So we wanted just to create a different avenue for cooks to come out and enjoy barbecue, man. We talked about how barbecue has gotten so political, and we see it all the time on Facebook, cooks bashing organizers and bashing sponsors, and we're about having fun, man. We want to get out there, have fun, enjoy the day, enjoy burning meat on a parking lot with friends, man. So that's we're trying to take barbecue back to that, and at the same time trying to innovate it and bring in all these new things like the electronic scoring system that we have. So it's just a different avenue, Brian, on what to do, how to cook, and that's why we're 4 meats here. So
how long have y'all been in existence?
A year and 3 months.
Year and 3 months. Because I remember, Fred, you came on. I think all 3 of y'all came on. I don't remember. We talked about it, and it was new, and what all has happened in the past year and 3 months? What kind of growth have y'all seen?
Oh man, it's
crazy.
It's been crazy. When we first started, we're like, yeah, we'll be fine with 18, 20 cook-offs for this year, which was 2021. And we had a couple of test cook-offs, and one in Seguin and one in Kingsville, Texas. And man, the Kingsville, Texas just had me saying, what the hell did I get myself into, right? Because, it was a complete, just frustrating, event, getting our system lined up and, the technology piece of it to, we finally got straightened out. But we ended up with like 65 events, throughout the year, through 2021. We're looking at possibly, 70 to 80 for this year. So it's growing a lot faster than personally I would like.
Are all of these in Texas?
All of them are in Texas. I am on a conference call tomorrow or Wednesday with a group out of Georgia to possibly have an event over there, which I'm really I'm pretty excited about. I know Fred's talking to several people, and Bill's talking to a couple of other people in different states. So, the hope is to spread out there.
That's great. I love it. I didn't mean to interrupt, but yeah. So you've had 65 contests in your first year. I know most people know, but Fred, you were talking about the scoring system and the technology. Can you give a quick rundown, or want anybody to give a quick rundown on the scoring system and the technology and how that differs from everybody else?
So all our taste judging is done. We use random judges. We don't have certified judges. So our pool of judges is quite big. I mean, we can pull anybody from a contest or, from around the town or, just our pool of judges is just huge. So we use smartphones, electronic devices, which we don't use no pen and paper, no pencil and paper to jot down scores or anything like that. They're basically they're touching their screen. We judge on taste, texture, or presentation, taste, and texture. Those are the 3 criteria we judge on. So they actually score on these electronic devices, which are tied into our server. We create a local area network. It's tied into our server at each cook-off, and the scores go directly into our server. There is no, they manually input a 9 instead of a 6 or a 6 instead of a 9. That doesn't happen. So there's no, I guess in creating the system, we tried to take as much human error element out of it to where it, we get truer or more accurate results. So yeah, it's a fairly, it's really unique. I think we're the only ones out there with the system anything close to this. So everything's done electronically at the end. After we turn in brisket, our event rep goes and presses, complete scores, and it gives you a printout of everybody in every category, how they finished, along with comments that get printed out on sheets. So judges can leave comments. There's a blank field where they can type in a comment on any of the criteria, or they can pick from a standardized check box that we have on there, too salty, too sweet, too whatever. Or they can go and leave comments like we've had some that say like, feels like a hug from grandma. We've had some comments like that. So it's really, really awesome system. Another thing that's fairly unique to us, or that we've made unique to us, is that we have walk-up songs at awards. You get
Please
to
tell me you call the team name and you don't call a number.
Right, we call team name. Team name. Yeah, we call team name. So
with team music.
with team music. So if it's Atlanta Barbecue Store, when you're registering, we'll ask you for your walk-up song. And so you hear your song as you're walking up to the stage if you get a call. So cool. that makes it pretty fun and exciting. Actually, teams now are actually looking for their song to hear their song before they hear their name, and so it's become it makes for a fun time, fun atmosphere at awards for sure.
I need to get Bill's list, his team number, or his song list, because confused him.
Fred's is oops, I did it again.
Oh man, so they're releasing the CBA roundtable next week. Is that the case, Bill? You know anything about that?
I just saw in the comments, but yeah, we filmed one at World Foods. We did film a roundtable, so I guess Brad said they're going to release it at some point here. It looks like pretty shortly. So yeah, we all sat down at World
What I
Foods.
love about this is y'all, even though y'all, like, everybody in barbecue knows each other, right? Like, it's such a good group of people and a family, or like barbecue in general. It doesn't matter if it's KCBS, CBA, BCA, whatever. Everybody knows each other. Everybody gives each other a hard time. It's a great time. It's great about barbecue. I love it. What was I going to ask? Oh, so, and I promise you, I'm not saying this to stir up anything. I'm not, I promise you. I'm just asking the question.
It's already stirred. So
okay, good. So is the reasoning for the technology to eliminate having issues on scoring and placement, so you don't have to get another? Is it eliminating what happened with Bill in the reserve at San Antonio? Is that the whole thing that you're trying to accomplish with your scoring system?
Well, we'll leave that answer to our politically correct president. So go ahead.
I promise you, I am not asking the question as in, is that stopping the human error?
Well, I think our scoring system was designed way before any of these issues arose with IBCA. But
right.
So that wasn't something that crossed our mind, although the human error part of it did cross our mind as we were developing the system, because we've seen it, everywhere. Basically, we've seen it in KCBS, we've seen it in, and I'm not trying to throw mud at anybody, or shade at anybody, but
I'm not asking
we've seen it in multiple sanctioning bodies, to where it's super easy on a 9-key calculator or whatever to input a 5 instead of a 9 or 9. You know, it's super easy to make that mistake, and that's exactly what they are. They're mistakes. I don't think anybody's out there trying to intentionally do
I
this.
agree.
But they're mistakes and they happen, and it's part of what we do. You know, as cooks, we make mistakes all the time as well. So, if your name's anything other than Brad, I don't think Brad makes mistakes, but
No, he doesn't.
Never made a
but
mistake.
you know, in creating the system, we did take that into consideration as far as the human element part of it. As far as what happened.
And I'm not necessarily asking to get into all that.
Well, I think too, and I think Fred has said it before, you know, as everything evolves, you know, cooks want more data, you know, I mean,
Right.
it's, you know, everybody's on their phones, everybody's, you know, everything evolves to some degree. And, you know, at the same time, you know, it was a chance we were starting a new sanctioning body to, let's try to make this as digital as possible where there is no key punching, you know, so,
you know, another thing is the whole efficiency of the process is just, you know, crazy. And we can do a brisket round in like 24 minutes for a 75 team. So, you know, that's insane. We don't have to input any data afterwards. You know, the judging is done once the last judge inputs his score. And as Fred mentioned earlier, one of the cool things, and I think Brad made a comment as well, is the comments. You know, the judges are putting the comments on there. If you get ranked middle of the pack or lower, it automatically takes them into the comment screen. That way the cooks couldn't get the feedback that they need in order to advance their plate in the future. So, you know, there's just a lot of different factors. Human error 1, efficiency 2, and then the comments, you know, 3. But it's a pretty state-of-the-art, you know, system. And, you know, the crazy part, it was developed by a cook that we had no clue had any programming skills or, you know, nothing but cooking skills. But, you know, the guys, you know, Paul Whitaker, he's guy's a genius on the machine. So
he's also a really great cook as well. I mean, he's a great cook.
He's a great cook as well. The guy's a genius. We're fortunate that he's on our team.
That's awesome. So what are y'all trying to, what do you see as a 1-year goal, 3-year goal, 5-year goal, whatever? Like, where do you see this going?
World domination.
No, I see that. I mean, I know you're saying that out of jest, but I mean, is that what you're trying to do?
I think we were on the on our the Buzz show, which is a CBA show that we do every now and then, and you know, we talked about our growth and where we started a year and 3 months ago to where we're at now, and what the horizon looks like, you know, and we'd love to talk about that here because it's something that we, as an organization or as a business or as a cook or as anything, we always set goals, right? We always, you know, try to set goals and we want to set them really high to where we push ourselves to achieve them. There's a quote out there that says, you know, you never, somewhere along the lines of, you know, you never want to set a go too low to where, you know, it doesn't take much effort to get there. You know, we want to set them high. Like Bill said, global domination would be awesome. But at the same time, we're trying to grow this thing.
That's on the low side.
At a controlled pace. You know, we want to be able to provide the customer service to our cooks, to our promoters, to our sponsors. We want to be able to provide a great product. And if we grow too fast too soon, then we might not be able to do that. So it's we want to grow. We want to get outside of Texas. We want to, you know, break some barriers there and grow and you know, hopefully have some success outside of Texas. And I don't see why we can't. I think there's room for everybody, and I think we can all play nicely and we can all get along. And it's like I said, it's just a different avenue on how to cook barbecue and where to go and who to play with. So at the end of the day, it's barbecue, man. We love to do it. We love to compete. We love to hang out with friends and the camaraderie that happens, and you know, visiting new places and all that good stuff, man. So we definitely want to grow, like I said, but just, you know, at a very controlled pace, and hopefully we can do that.
You know, I think the coolest part is that everybody on our board, we're all cooks. You know, we've all cooked IBCA, we've all cooked KCBS. We do our fair share of traveling around the states doing that. So that's really, really cool. So our board is comprised of cooks mainly, and then the other half is our wives, because we got to have somebody to keep us in line and make sure all the books and all the emails and sanctioning and all that stuff is done. And the ladies of our organization are just incredible at doing that. So it took a long time to develop our board. We have like 9 former IBCA board members that are on our board. So 65 wasn't unrealistic, but it was a lot easier because we all knew the process of making it happen. So, but in any organization, you always have to keep the cooks first in mind, and I think that's what makes our organization unique, is that we're the cooks as well, so it's easier for us to get out there and talk to the cooks and find out what they want.
Love it. Some interesting questions, and I'll get into this in a sec. I'll bring that up in a second. If I've never cooked a CBA event, I've cooked another sanctioned body from other. What would it look like to me as a first time CBA cook? What would that contest look like to me? What should I know going into that?
So our turn-ins are a little different than what you're used to in KCBS. Although we still do chicken, ribs, pork, and brisket, what we ask of you at turn-in is different. So I guess the biggest thing is how we judge. We judged with a plastic fork and plastic knife. So they're cutting a piece out of your barbecue out of the box. So they're not taking an actual rib. We're not taking an actual slice out of the box. So probably the biggest difference is the half chicken, as Brad mentioned in one of the earlier comments. Keep it in true Texas style. We kept the half chicken, and we've had discussions on whether we should open that category up and allow other things, and we'll continue those discussions internally. And if it goes that way, it goes that way, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. I think for me to cook a half chicken is a lot easier than cooking thighs or legs or anything else. My trim on a half chicken is probably less than a minute. So
Really?
yeah, and my thigh trim is a good hour at least. So
Right.
Going into a contest, I'd rather cook half chickens than trimming thighs for an hour. But so it's half chickens. We require enough ribs for 6 judges. So whatever that means to you. If you run out of meat, that's on you. So we recommend 6 or more. And then pork is pretty much anything goes. You can do pulled chunks, medallions. You can do a combination. You can basically do a KCBS box and be fine with it. And then brisket is slices only. No burnt ends, no pulled, just slices. No garnish in the box. We give you foil. You put it on the bottom, so you don't have to worry about kale or any greenery or anything like that. And that in itself, if you're used to KCBS, it's going to bring its own challenges because you're used to that kale,
Right.
propping up that brisket or those ribs or what have you. So it's going to be a little different. Boxes look different, and they do. But everybody's on the same, everybody's asked to do the same thing. It's not one guy doing kale and another foil. It's everybody's on foil. So it's a equal playing field. So those are the biggest differences. Other than that, it's still, turn in your barbecue, turn it in on time, make it good, make it presentable and delicious, and chances are you'll do well.
That's great. So Bill, how much different is your pork box and KCBS to CBA?
It's pretty much the same. I mean, I run pretty much the same box. Obviously, there's no kale. But again, I mean, like Fred's saying, they're judging knife and fork, and it's only just single round.
Okay,
so only being judged by only 6 judges. So there's only going to be, and the judge is only allowed to go into the box once. So if there is 3 different presentations of pork, they can only go in there and grab one piece. They're not allowed to, sanitary purposes. They can't just keep eating pork, and putting back in and getting another bite. So, there's all sorts of different strategies. Some people just do money muscle. Some people, and they've all won. We've seen them all win. We've seen, people with first place pork and all. They've loaded a whole box full of 15 slices of medallions of money muscle. So I like turning in a full box, even though only 6 judges. I think Fred, I won't say who it is, but saw a picture of one of our buddies. Here's my box. It's a lot of foil in that box. So there was just maybe you can put just 6 pieces in there if you want, and you're staring at a lot of foil, and that may or may not affect your presentation score. And at the same time, as that box moves around to that 6th person, if there's only 1 piece left, they're left to score it on that. I like to give the box pretty full. That way, when it does make it around to the 6th judge, they have options to actually, pick which piece they want. But equally, just like in KCBS, if it's not good, don't put it in the box, because you do not want to put food that's not good in the box. So, because you could, obviously they take a bite of that. So don't try to hide anything. If it's not good, just don't put it in the box. So, and we don't have any limitations on pork. So you can cook, you can cook money muscles if you want. You can, anything from the pork butt. So
nice. Roddy, what is the scoring weight or whatever? Like, I know you said you're still doing appearance, tenderness, and flavor, correct? Those are the 3.
Right. We go with presentation, taste, and tenderness. The actual decimal points, Fred might know those off the top of his head. I'm not too certain of them. But presentation, of course, is a lot less than the other 2. But you know the numbers, Fred, or
I not off the top of my head. It's
so what's the most important? Tenderness,
taste.
Okay.
Yeah. So tenderness. It's taste, tenderness, then appearance or presentation.
So here we go.
Appearance,
presentation is 18% of your score. Taste is 46.5% of your score, and texture is 35.5% of your score. So taste is the one you want to shoot for.
It's almost half your score is taste.
Wow. So that's a little different too, right? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's weighted different.
When did Brad cook CBA? What was this one he cooked it?
World food.
He cooked world food.
I don't think Brad wants to claim that he cooked CBA. I think he said he wasn't there. Yeah.
I got 1st in the world at pork at Memphis and May and Dallas. I got 7th on my table. I love it, Brad. Hey, we can always strive to get better. Because you're a world champion doesn't mean
sometimes the best barbecue doesn't win.
Well, either that, Bill, or there was 7 better cooks in Dallas than there was in Memphis. I don't know.
And that one player.
7 better pork cooks.
Pork cooks, yeah.
Texas is known for their pork cooks, right?
Yeah, I don't think anybody in Dallas is known for their pork.
No.
Oh, too funny. If anybody has any questions, please.
Yeah, syrup is the kiss of death in Texas for sure.
Oh, yeah. So, you should have just asked me, bro. I would have told you.
Nobody uses syrup.
Oh me, do y'all use syrup when you go outside of Texas?
Oh, outside of Texas, you use syrup, but not inside Texas. Inside Texas,
gallons.
they hate syrup, actually. So
they won't even put it on their pancakes, much less their barbecue.
All it would have taken is a stop at Waffle House, and he would have known that, but he didn't stop. So they would have given him honey with his waffles instead of syrup.
A piece of cheese on top of their waffles. Exactly.
Wow, salsa.
Yeah, it's salsa works.
I mean, one trick pony, make it taste like pancakes. Oh, that's awesome. Too funny. So an interesting question was brought up, and I know we're year 1 going into year 2, and this is probably a question that is for year 5. I don't know, maybe y'all have bigger thoughts, but I think it was Mark who said KCBS has the Royal, MDN has Memphis and May. Other thing, like you got all these big contests. Do y'all see a big whatever Houston
Yes.
rodeo type? Okay, good. Thank you. I don't know where I'm going with it, but thank you. What do you see?
Yeah, I think you're alluding to, a big event, world championship style event that.
I think Tomball VFW, was probably close to a world championship. Yeah.
Who won that? By the way? We've actually been in contact with a promoter that we're sanctioning their event. It's actually the second largest sanctioned cook-off in Texas. That one's coming up the end of the month here in it's 10 minutes away from my house. But they usually get 200 plus teams at that event, and those guys are all in. They're asking questions. What do they have to do to make this thing a world championship?
Well, I guess, Fred, I think that we've all been asking ourselves that question.
I don't think.
And Brian, maybe what makes it a world championship? It's
oh gosh,
having two international teams.
If Brad calls it a world championship, I think.
If Brad's going to say, "Hey, that's a world championship," the stamp's on it. Yeah. But making it a world championship, if you look at the Royal and you look at the Jack, those suckers took years, to develop into what they're in. We're hoping to do it a lot sooner than that with the popularity of barbecue, but I guess somebody needs to define exactly what the heck a world championship is.
Hey, I didn't mention world championship. I said big event. Nobody. But no, that's a big question, right? Like, what exactly?
Yeah, what is it? I'm looking at the comments. Hopefully, Carrie or Mark Weatherall or one of the guys can have an answer for us. But what is a world championship?
It's all marketing. Amen, brother.
I think if Brad wins it, it's considered a world championship. Other than that, it's not.
Yeah.
But
are all y'all world champions? I know Fred is.
Fred is.
I think Fred's the only one in the group.
Yeah, for sure. Fred is the only one.
Good job, Fred.
Thank you.
Carlo is a world champion in wings, but he's not on the show.
Wings, Memphis, and May.
So I don't know, yeah. So that's a whole nother. Apparently, that's a topic of conversation that we need to have a roundtable on.
Brookhaven might be a world championship, maybe. West Garrett.
West
Garrett. I mean, anything that West Garrett wins, I think is pretty awesome. But okay, so you are looking at a major event, and I guess that led to world champion. And I didn't mean to get into all that, but that is a good question. Who defines it as being a world champion other than us as the marketing?
Well, we did sanction world food. I mean, that's considered a world championship?
Is it?
I mean, not at a scale of the Royal to where you have 400 teams there, but
it would be cool to see like majors, right? Like I know Brad was talking about when he was on the other day talking about golf and having a scoring system based off of who's there and whatever. But it would be kind of cool to see. I mean, KCBS has got two different kind of world champions, right? You got the Royal and you've got the KCBS Invitational. Then you've got MBN's got the Jack or the Memphis and May, and then the Jack, which I guess that's KCBS too. But whatever. I don't know. I don't mean to get into all that. But what does it take into going to make a major contest for CBA? Like, how do you choose who does what?
I think there's different ways of going about it. There's one way of saying, maybe we take the top cooks from around the nation, regardless of sanctioning body, and put them all together and call it a world championship, or inviting previous winners of, say, the Royal or the Jack or Houston or some of these, and that could be called a world championship. I think Tim Esch made a comment on there. If the trophy says world championship, it's a world championship. So,
Atlanta Barbecue Store Classic could possibly be a world championship. Who knows?
Yeah.
If it was CBA, it would help it. So.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, hey,
it would help endorse it for sure. So.
Yeah, that's right. So I am excited because the last I heard, y'all were not leaving Texas. Y'all were staying in the state of Texas. So it is exciting because I know, Bill, we talked about this a lot. Everybody was pulling y'all to go do a bunch of contests, and I believe you were smart enough to not get caught up in that and to say, hey, let's stay small. Let's stay in Texas, not small, but let's stay in Texas and grow through Texas all the way out. I think that is what is going to help y'all because you're not pulled all the way around the country.
Well, I think like anything else, you know, you got to have your roots somewhere. You can't branch out everywhere and expect to have at that point, you know, you're just branches and no roots, and you're left out there to dry. But you know, I think our roots are here in Texas, and we're gonna grow out of here, branch out and grow. And you know, that's the best illustration I can give right now. But you know, it's we definitely want to grow, but at the same time, we don't like I said earlier, we don't want to grow too fast too soon.
Yeah. There you go. I think what Brad had to say right there on that comment is pretty here. I'll put it up there. It's all marketing. Everybody knows what a good contest is. San Antonio was a big win, right? Like, I mean, how does Houston Rodeo compare to San Antonio?
Bill?
Well, I think, you know, Houston Rodeo has got a lot of legacy teams. So a lot of the spots, it's not a contest that the best cooks in Texas get the opportunity to cook. It's a contest that there's guys that have had their spots for 20, you know, I mean, I don't know how many years, but, you know, the best cooks in Texas don't get to often cook. I mean, Fred's cooked it once, and that was when he won the American Royal and he got a spot to cook it. So, and there's lots of guys that cook it every single year just because they've been there, and that's maybe the only contest they cook. So they're not the actual, you know, to the San Antonio Rodeo, the one that we were just at. That's an actual contest that the best cooks in Texas and even from other areas sign up for that one because it's accessible. You know, Houston is, I mean, it's a big contest, and for whatever reason, it's considered a world championship. But at the end of the day, it's a bunch of big corporate tents that have been purchased by some of these legacy teams, and some of them bringing in, you know, some of them will bring in some of there'll be a lot of Texas cooks there. You know, I've got a team that's asked me to cook ribs, so I'm cooking ribs for a team, and there'll be, you know, quite a few competition cooks, but you know, when we were at the Jack, I was talking to Mateus, which Mateus is another one of the great cooks in Texas, probably one of the best cooks in Texas. And he hasn't ventured out, but, you know, he says rodeos, it's a winnable contest just because the competition isn't as stiff as San Antonio Rodeo or, you know, some of the other big events. And we have, you know, we talk about big events in Texas, man, we have a lot of 100-team cook-offs in Texas.
That was what I was going to get to.
We've already, I mean, even CBA, we've had several. I mean, we could probably have 10 or 15 events already that have been close to 100 teams, you know, if not more.
Yeah, and we look at San Antonio, 298 teams this year. I mean, that's a huge event.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's second probably to just the Royal. So it's everywhere you walk, you know, you're walking down the straightaways there at San Antonio Rodeo, and you know, you look to the right and you're like, hey, that team could probably win it. You look to the left and, you know, you're saying the same thing. I mean, the talent there was just, you know, incredible. So I don't know what it's going to take to get I think San Antonio would be next as far as, you know, being considered, you know, and let's just put a title on a world championship, but it's the numbers alone are insane.
That's crazy. I mean, that's one thing, talking to Lee Hickle, he talked about how all the contests in Texas are huge. And how have y'all been able to manage that? Because I know it's a big feat. A 50 team contest is a big feat when it's a first time. And y'all have been able to do 65 contests, and like you say, close to 100 at every one of them or more. Has that been a struggle, or is that just part of the way it is in Texas?
I think it's been a gradual, you know, we've kind of grown into it. And they're not all 100-team cookouts. You know, we have small ones. We got 20, 25 teamers, but we have had our share of large cookouts. I think our largest was probably Alvin Music Festival so far. At like 178 teams.
Who won that one? Who won that one?
that guy.
Well, is that part of the round table that Brad is going to be releasing next week?
So
How does that work? Do y'all have reps? I mean, and I don't want to compare it to anything.
We call them ambassadors.
Ambassadors. Okay.
Yeah, so we have a great team, from all around Texas. We got people down south where I'm from. We got, a great team in the Houston area. Bill's from Houston. We've got area ambassadors there. We got event reps there. Out in West Texas, Central Texas, North Texas, we got a great team. I've lost count. I mean, we got Manuel Moreno up in Amarillo. We've got a great team all the way around, and we do have event reps that our event reps are just like KCBS event reps. They're the judges out there. They're our face out on the field, and then our area ambassadors are the contact person for promoters to go to in their general area. So if there's a promoter out in the Houston area that wants to put on a cook-off, they reach out to CBA and we'll put them in contact with somebody there locally in their area to where they can go and talk to them and they'll show them the ropes basically. So we've got a great team from A to Z, man. It's a rock star team. Everybody's bought into the idea of what we're doing. And I think that's the biggest thing, is having everybody on the same page and kind of steering the train. We talk about the train all the time. We just getting that train rolling all in the same direction has been really crucial to our success.
What are y'all doing to bring new teams into barbecue?
That's been a natural progression, man. We were kind of worried pre-COVID, and Fred and I were talking about this when we're on the IBCA board, is that we weren't seeing a lot of new growth in barbecue. We're seeing the same old cooks that were going to the same old events, and we weren't seeing a lot of new guys. And then I think we had about a 3 or 4 month, 5 month break in cook-offs, and we started seeing some different people. And then when we started our organization, and last year it started coming on a little bit stronger in February and March, we're having some more events. We're seeing people that we've never seen before, and these folks were doing great. So, from being worried 2 years ago to being very optimistic about, a lot of these new cooks, and they're young too, man. So that's very optimistic for us. They're going to be replacing us, in the near future as far as running an organization. So we were worried, Brian, but I mean, from what we're seeing, here in Texas, is that there's been a nice little progression as far as how many of these young teams we're getting.
Awesome. I know here. I know in Georgia we're seeing new teams come in also, and that's what. And I can't say for around the country. I know it's up and down, right? Like whatever. But I guess the thing that I love most about it, talking to Fred and Bill and you, Roddy, it's not hey, we're trying to replace somebody else. We're trying to grow barbecue. And I think that to me is the most impressive thing of what's going on is it's almost like we're working together, right? To try to grow barbecue as a whole. The bigger barbecue as a whole, the better it is for everybody, I think.
I think if you ask cooks that cook our events, the things that they love about it versus some of the other sanctioning bodies is there's 4 meets. So that's 4 chances to hear your name. And the awards are so much fun with the walk-up music, because then you're seeing your buddies and you don't really know what song your buddy chose. So people are laughing at different songs that get posted, because some people do some, like Robert Rocha does, I'm not broke anymore. And some of these maybe songs that some people have never even heard. And they're walking up and getting their, their check for their call. And, you're here and I'm not going to be broke anymore. I mean, the music itself is super exciting, and it's
Bill,
a lot
that sounds silly as hell, man. Get excited about stupid walk-up songs, right? But Jesus Christ, man, it's a lot of fun.
It is,
man.
People are laughing, and people that are not walking are laughing at other people's walk-up songs, and people are dancing their way to the stage with their walk-up songs. The awards are unbelievable. They're really cool.
No, I know you go to some awards, and my first, and not that I'm dogging any organization, but my first KCBS was in Alabama, And man, by the time they were at pork, I was already falling asleep because they were just, Rio Bottom Eat, chicken fried barbecue. They're just going really, really quick. And it's like, shit, man, I paid, a couple of $1,000 to get over here, and they're not even offering us the opportunity to walk up and enjoy it for 5-6 seconds. So I think this is a difference as far as, folks, get your ass on up there, dance it to the music, man. Have a good time and enjoy your 5 seconds of fame and go back and sit down, right? And hope for another call. But I think that's what's really driving a lot of the excitement at our events.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome. That's something that I think is awesome. Bring excitement. And I mean, it's the little things. It doesn't take a ton, right? It doesn't, you don't have to do a whole ton of stuff to make it exciting. But make it exciting.
And at the end of the day, it doesn't cost anybody anything to do that. Maybe a little time to get a playlist together, and that's about it. It just requires some effort. That's all.
What time are y'all's awards normally? How late are your awards after the last turn-in?
That's all on the promoter. Typically, we like to have it about an hour after the last turn-in. We have the capability to have everything done and completed, and all the packets are stapled and ready to go. But it's all on the promoter.
Print awards. It's just Fred won. So usually, if it may take 30 minutes to calculation, and it's another.
Well, I don't know if I'm just speaking for myself, but I got pretty excited back in November and December, and Fred went through a little dry spell, and the guy, he was sitting in his chair for a while.
Right.
And then San Antonio, he got out 3 times, and we're like, shit, this guy's gonna start.
Ronnie, how long does it take Fred and Bill to cash their checks at all the contests that they discuss?
Hey, Brian, I'm not gonna lie to you. I forgot where we're driving out of state, and I was with Fred, and it was my turn to drive, and I put down the visor, right, because the sun was.
Hey, don't tell everybody where the checks are at, bro.
I'm telling you, at least 4 or 5 checks fell out of that damn visor from months ago, and I was like, dude, are you to cash these or what? Or if you don't need it, I'll take the money from you.
Nah, he's got belt buckles in his floorboard, 180 stickers everywhere.
Not watching because she's gonna want that money.
That's awesome, Fred. Nobody knows that. Just change it up a little bit. You'll be okay. Paul Keltner said he's just sorry your first KCBS contest was in Alabama.
Yeah, it was at World Food in Orange Beach.
There you go. But anyway, so. What else did y'all, Bill? Is there anything else that you had that you wanted us to discuss tonight? Make sure that everybody knows about CBA. I think it's what I love about it is you're trying something different, right? You're not getting caught up in the same old thing. So anyway, go ahead. What you got, Bill?
No, shoot, we're having fun. We're all having fun, and and at the same time too. I still have fun cooking. I enjoy cooking KCBS. I enjoy cooking a lot of events, so, but it's been a great option for us here in Texas, and we definitely want to see it grow outside of Texas. And I don't think that that's going to be a problem. We've definitely had lots of interest in other areas, but at the same time too, we've got to get training and all the rest of it for people to run our software, because it's software that we built. I'm having fun watching all these comments.
and Lee, they did mention our turn-in times, but I don't know if you told us when the chicken turn-in started.
So we have chicken at 12. It's and then on the hour. So it's 12 chicken, 1 ribs, 2 pork, and 3 brisket. Typically our awards are 4-ish. So an hour after brisket, 4:30. It's kind of what we shoot for, but it really depends on the promoter, what else they've got going on. So a lot of these promoters use the same stage to have music on or whatever they're doing. So we kind of have to fall in line with what they want to do. So,
gotcha. So real quick, and I know y'all, I do appreciate it what y'all have done. If I'm coming to cook a CBA contest, what do I need to know about cooking a half chicken?
Was this a Brad question?
No, don't undercook it and don't overcook it,
Just look through Bill's Instagram page, and it'll tell you that tiger stripe chicken wins.
Tiger stripe chicken.
That tiger stripe chicken is a myth.
Right.
Well, the last one I saw, I think that Bill didn't have the stripes on it.
No, I change it up. I get bored. So I get bored at cook-offs, and we'll change things just to dink
the
around.
Flavor profile that we're looking for here. For me here, because it sounds like there could be one coming to Georgia soon.
You just don't want to offend anyone. It's the same stuff. I mean, it's the same
thing.
It's the same. Barbecue is the same. You don't want anything super offensive. You want it down the middle. And what do they say? You want the best down the middle barbecue. Our judges aren't certified, so you're going to get a mixture of some that are just there to taste and score. Some think that they're professional judges. So I mean, I've had comments on ribs before, because I do cook them a little more tender. I want that judge to have no problem getting them out with the knife and fork. Because the fork and the knife, it's the cheapest, the most smallest, cheapest plastic knife and fork you could find. So I'm going to cook a thick rib so they can take a bite out. But I had a comment, I think in Tomball, the rib fell off the bone perfectly. So there's but at the same time, if you overcook them too much, they'll turn to mush, and you're not going to get good taste scores as well. So you can't just melt them, but you do want them to come out with ease off the, where they can easily get a bite and not have anything crunchy or hard on the top. So
I've seen some different Texas briskets being turned in. Do y'all separate the briskets before you slice them, or are y'all trying to get the slices with the point and the flat?
A mixture. There's people turning in just flat. There's people turning in point and flat meat together.
And both of them are doing well.
Yeah.
I've done well with both. I've had numerous, great calls on just point meat. I mean, just flat, and then, good calls on flat with point. So to me, I taste it, and if I think it's good, if it doesn't look too bad or too fatty, I'll leave it on. I think since they're cutting a piece off the brisket, Brian, it's they have the choice of where to cut, what to choose from. So you can give them the option by leaving that point meat down there. If you take it off, well, then they never had the option. So
right.
It's really your call on if it's not good, if that point meat is mush or it's over or that fat didn't render out, well, then don't put it in the box. But I know a lot of cases.
That's great. And I'm not asking for all the secrets. I'm just trying, I got my goal for every show is to get a nugget out of Bill. He's going to tell something.
I'll tell you, I haven't told many people this, but one of the biggest secrets is chicken fried rib grind. I haven't really told a lot, but
that's not been out there too much, y'all.
That's not been out there.
I hear Fred's got some good stuff out there too.
Huh?
I hear Fred's got some good stuff out there too.
It was on my brisket in San Antonio.
So
second place.
What Bill meant to say is that you need Blanco and Perfecto from Rio Valley Meat, and then a courtesy sprinkle of rib grind.
Make sure you grind it up first, right?
Oh, that's awesome. Well, if anybody else has any questions for these guys, if not, I'm gonna let them get going. Other than Brad wants to know for all the secrets, I'm sure there's a way that can be found. And I would love to cook one. So I'm curious to see what's going on. Here it is.
There it is. There it is.
Just so the world knows, Roddy hates my seasonings.
Well, I'm going to say that, Fred is one of my closest and best friends in the world. And, I see him go to events and he's tossing these bottles to folks. Hey, try it out. Try this, kind of like crack cocaine. He's just throwing it out there to get people hooked, right? Brian, I've never received a bottle from the guy.
Oh, you liar.
Not once.
You liar.
And even then, I have a couple of bottles because I've had to purchase them, right? Like, I guess like everybody else. And we're at events, and this guy will walk into my trailer and say, hey, man, do you have any Perfecto or Black? Here, just, take them. He doesn't even carry his own rubs with him.
True story.
Oh,
it happens.
It happens.
Yeah, it does happen.
But I am a big chicken fried fanboy. You know, I have a chicken fried
Aren't we all?
pizza. You know, I have the rub. If I were to see Bill at a Buc-ee's or somewhere, I would stop him and ask him for his autograph. So I'm all about the chicken fried.
I tell you
He,
what,
he carries a couple Sharpies with him all the time, so he's always ready.
well, Bill's already decided. He said he's going to raffle or give away a signed T-shirt tonight to somebody.
A used t-shirt.
Used. So I went to Buc-ee's for the first time this weekend. Man, that place is crazy. Like, is that place?
It's always like that. No matter what time of day. Or
I
not.
think he threw some of his American Royal ashes in his pit at San Antonio. Brad's asking for ashes, so
They were perfect.
we did have a talk about ashes at San Antonio.
Speaking of Buc-ee's in San Antonio, Robert Rocha and Bill were on their way to San Antonio from Houston. They stopped at a Buc-ee's. And what was your little story there, Bill?
No, it's
Let's hear it.
no.
He's freezing up. Oh God!
He froze up.
He
froze
up on it.
Start the story.
How perfect timing was that for him?
Oh man!
Yes, I did get the beaver nuggets, Brett. That is so funny that he froze up. Man, guys, I appreciate everything. Can you tell people, like, do you have a website? The CBA have a website? He's just really still.
With a smile on his face. Yeah, we're at
smile on his face.
We're at
How can people get in touch with y'all? Sorry.
We're at www.cbabarbecue.com. BBQ.com. You know, we look forward to, you know, going out and start, you know, doing events in other states, controlled, of course. You know, we don't want to get crazy. I think one of the drawing points for a lot of these states, and one of the reasons why Texas barbecue has been successful in Texas as far as getting a lot of teams, is our prices and fees are very, very, very reasonable. So that gives the promoter an opportunity to give a lot more to the cook and have higher payouts, to where, you know, folks will attend these events, you know, to get a $10,000 payout, or, you know, a $7,500 payout. So, you know, we look forward to going out there and spreading some of our love.
That's awesome. I can't wait. I'm excited to hear about it. So, here comes Bill back. He's
He's back on.
Perfect, Bill.
I missed everything. Everything started spinning. You know.
You were fanboying that the last time we heard.
Pretty much.
Too funny. All right. So, if anybody needs to get in touch with y'all personally, anyway, that if y'all have any, if they want to ask y'all, oh gosh, we're getting out the chicken Fred. Fred, how can somebody get in touch with you if they want to talk to you?
They can hit me up on Facebook, Instagram, Real Valley Meat Barbecue. Actually, my number is on the CBA website. If y'all need anything CBA related, feel free and call that number on there. That's my cell phone. So CBABBQ.com is anything CBA related, and on a more personal level. Just a quick note on here, me and Bill will be putting on a class, and I'm going to throw in a shameless plug. We don't have a date yet, but we'll let you know, Brian. Maybe you can help us spread the love on that a little bit.
Love to.
So we'll be putting on a class here, hopefully sometime in March.
So, perfect.
Yes, sir.
As soon as you have the date, let me know. I will make sure that we get it blasted out there. And if y'all want to come back on and push the class, we can come on and do that too.
Nice.
So
how about next week,
Brad?
That one's real expensive, Brad.
All right, Roddy, how can somebody get in touch with you?
They can find me on Facebook as well. I'm friends with a lot of the folks that are in the comments. So just, you know, reach out and, you know, we'll do it. If you want an event in one of your states, you know, any of you guys that are out there, get a hold of us. You know, we'll talk about it, and, you know, we'll hopefully make it happen and head out there. Love it.
Bill?
All the social media platforms. So
Chicken Fried Barbecue?
Bill Purvis on Facebook, Chicken Fried Barbecue, Chicken Fried BBQ on Instagram and Facebook.
Is everybody in Texas as jealous of all of Bill's pictures as everybody else around the country, or what?
They're jealous of his filter game. Actually, it's
Yeah,
I don't know
It'll
what
be-
program he's using or what app
it'll
he's
be in the
using.
class. It'll be in the class.
Yeah.
That alone.
In the class.
That's
Fred
an extra
sees,
$500.
Fred sees me on barbecue, and then he sees the pictures. He's like, "How did you do that?"
I've seen the barbecue, and then I see the pictures. I'm like, wow.
Wow.
Well, this was about a year and a half ago or so, and when Bill first started posting his pictures, and I was talking to Fred, I was like, I'm pretty proud of Bill, man. His presentation on his stuff has come a long way. It's looking really, really good. He was like, bro, it's the filter. You need to look at it in real life.
Oh, man.
Well, Bill and I, we showed phone. We shared phones, and my camera was much better than his camera, right, Bill?
Right.
If we could just get him off that iPhone. OnlyFans. So y'all are on OnlyFans. I like that. All right. Awesome. Guys, thank you so much for coming on. I do appreciate it. I'm really excited to see what CBA is doing. It's been a little over a year. Can't wait to see what happens next year. And after that, congratulations for one, and keep going strong. And if there's anything we can do here at Chewin the BBQ Fat, y'all just let me know. I'd love to have y'all on. And I did tell Bill that maybe monthly or whatever, I'd love to have him come on and just give a quick update of what's going on in CBA and the points chases and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully that'll help, and it's going to be a great time moving forward.
Thanks for having us.
No, thanks for having us, Brian.
Appreciate you, bud.
Yeah,
Thanks
we
all
love the
very
show.
much.
We love the
Appreciate
show.
it.
We love what you're doing for barbecue. It's great. So,
Well, I'm just trying to get great guests like you all to come on.
I think you have great guests. You just need better viewers. So.
I mean, Chris Schaefer comes on here and he's like, poor
Who
Fred.
is Chris Schaefer?
That's exactly what Fred said to him,
Do
and
you
he
know
was
Chris
like,
Schaefer,
"Golly, leave me alone."
Was he the guy next to me at World Food or not?
I don't know. He's the guy that kept knocking on your door, wanting to see what he could do. I don't
Chris is tearing it up out there, man.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
awesome. Chris is on
Chris
fire right now.
He's a way badass. So
Heck
he's
yeah.
going to win it this year if Brad stays in retirement. So
I'll tell you what, it's gonna be exciting.
retirement looks tough on Brad though, cooking every weekend. So
I tell you, man, he was out in Florida. He should have come to San Antonio. Is all I'm saying. But
he
So
should
he's not a very successful retiree.
He's trying. He's not trying too hard. Thank you guys so much. Y'all have a wonderful week. We'll see you next week on Chewin the BBQ Fat, and have a great week, guys.
good night, guys.
Good night. Thank you.